And this is 22,000 square feet.
Yes.
I understand this is a huge place. It also has a glass ceiling rooftop,
Yes.
right? Which is great.
Yes.
But about the funding, I was going to ask you about that. So I know that you self-funded it.
Yep.
And so for people who may not have that option, right, women and allies who are starting their own businesses but are looking for funding, what do you suggest for them?
So I think it depends. One is, if you don't know your numbers, you're not going to understand what kind of capital, how much capital you need. I talk to a lot of founders every day, every week that say, I need to raise money. And I say, okay, how much do you need? They don't know because they haven't done their numbers. So the first and foremost is like, what do you actually need? And then once you're ready to start asking for it, and we can talk about where, you need to know how you're going to deploy that, and then whether you have to pay that back in a certain amount of time. If it's an investor, depending on the kind of investor, they may have a little bit more leniency, but maybe not. If you're looking for institutional capital, so from a bank, banks are not going to be, traditional banks are not going to be the right way to go right off the bat.
Okay.
Because you don't have any history. You're just starting. CDFIs, which are community development financial institutions, are smaller banks that you can go to. They are required by law to lend to small business. Now, there are a lot of great banks out there, and I would say, rather than just saying I'm not going to go ask, is start a relationship, start a conversation with that bank. And so they can understand who you are. It's like dating before you get married, and they need to know that you're a good, safe bet, that if they're going to lend you money, they're going to pay you back. It's the same with if you went to a friend and said, hey, we're best friends. Can you lend me $10,000? They'd say, what do you need it for? And when am I going to get that money? It's no different as we think about getting funding. And I would also just remember to educate yourself on the kinds of funding that's out there. A lot of founders go immediately to venture, and that's a very, very small percentage of companies that are really where venture is relevant. There's angel funding, there's crowdfunding, there's friends and family, there's bank loans, there's private equity, there's lots of ways to tap into capital. And 70% of small business owner, founder, entrepreneurs self-fund their businesses to start.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yes. A lot out of necessity. But like me, a lot wanted to control their own destiny.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. Do you feel like that's really, been a benefit to you as you've continued this journey? It's been 7 years, right?
Yes. I think if we had raised outside capital, whether through venture or different capital that way, we wouldn't still be in business. Because we were a little over a year old when the pandemic hit, and we had to adapt very quickly and made a lot of mistakes, but also took advantage of a lot of opportunities. I think because we haven't taken any funding, it's allowed us to remain very nimble and adapt very quickly, but also listen to our members who are our customers around what they're looking for. And I think when you've got a group of people telling you how to use your money, it starts to dilute the ability to have control around what you truly want to build.
Got it. Yeah.